Hello, everybody. This is CJ Wiley with more adventures on the road. Been touring West Virginia, Virginia, and Maryland today, which they're only about 5 minutes apart up where I'm at, but incredible scenery. I was just remembering back, there was always somebody that was like on the top of their game in the gambling world that was just beating everybody, and different people had different cycles. Scotty Townsend was one of them that would hit high levels, and Arkansas Calvin, Reed Pierce, Mike Johnson, Paul Turner, of course Vernon Elliott, the faceless man, was one of the best unknown players in the world. And generally when somebody was hitting that top level, I would try to go play them. You know, it was always a challenge to beat whoever was on the top. And at this particular time, there was a guy in California named Mark Tadamy was his last name. I called him Mark Tad. He'd won the Los Angeles Open, which was 3 disciplines. I think it was 9-ball, 8-ball, and 1 pocket. I don't think Banks was one of them, but I'm not 100% sure. But he won the all-around, and he beat Jose Perica, who was considered the best money player in the world at the time, especially in this country. There was several Filipinos, of course, Efren Reyes and Rudolfo Luat, Andam, Bustamante were all top-tier players that were coming over here. But Mark Tad was the one to beat. So I went to Vegas, and I thought Louie Roberts would be out there too. St. Louie was another big gambler. There was a man with a really high gear. He had an incredibly sophisticated offensive game, and when he was on, he was virtually impossible to beat. And I'd played him a couple times. He'd spotted me, but in the past, but I was ready to play him even, so I figured either I would play Mark Tad or Louie. So when I got there, I was in a casino, and I actually ran into Louie Roberts, and I talked to him briefly, and man, he just didn't look like he had it together, and I really didn't want to take advantage of him, so had a little bit of small talk with him, and told him I may gamble with him, but really put my focus on Mark Tad. So we ended up matching up a game for 10,000, 10 ahead for 10,000, and I was in top gear because I just played Reed Pierce over 20 hours, and was really hitting that level where I've talked about, where I went from playing the game to the game playing through me. And I'd figured out a little secret to my alignment where I could just line up center to center or center to edge and make every shot on the pool table just by cueing the ball slightly to the inside. It's my touch of inside system, and it's really powerful, but it relies on your ability to start from a neutral position, which is center to center or center to edge. And what I've found, most players are a little bit to the left of center to center, and they don't realize it. Their eyes make an adjustment, and it looks like they're on that line, but they're actually not. So I'm not really setting up on the contact line or the shot line. I'm setting up center to center and then creating the angle or triangulating the angle off of that fixed position. Same thing with center to edge for all my cut shots. So I had really figured this stuff out, at least at a subconscious level. I couldn't explain it like I do now, but when I went out and played Mark Tad, I knew it was complete. My only mantra was touch of inside, accelerate. As long as I accelerated, I made every shot. So we went back and forth in the first set. He was playing, like I said, at an extremely high level. But I just didn't make any mistakes. So after about 2.5 hours, I beat him the 10 ahead set for 10,000. He wanted to play another set. So we ended up waiting around. It took almost 2 hours to get the other 10,000. And then when we started the set, I was still in dead gear. So I beat him that set in about 45 minutes. So there was a few people there. Fat Boy, I talked to him in London when I was the captain of the Moscone Cup. He was there, and he told me he didn't see me make any mistakes. And I jumped the ball a few times with my full cue and drew it back, and I was just in one of those zones. And even though I was able to win against Mark that time, it was just like when I played Keith McCready and ran 8 and out on him. It was just self-defense, because those players were capable of doing to me what I did to them. So anyway, that's one of my stories, and like I said, I have a deep respect for Mark Tad, because he was definitely one of the best gamblers in the country, and it just happened to be my day when we played there in Vegas. About 3 days later, I heard Louie Roberts had supposedly killed himself, which there's a few facts up in the air that looks like that may have been a little bit of funny business, but who knows. All I know is Louie was a great player, and I have a lot of admiration for him as well. This is CJ Wiley. If you want to learn more about my techniques that I use to become one of the best gamblers and ESPN world champion, join me at cjwiley.com. And I got over 16 hours of information, including a 90-minute video on that Touch of Inside system, another 90-minute video on banking, where you can make any bank using the center-to-center or center-to-edge system, and lots of other stuff. Anyway, hope you're doing well. Until next time, this is CJ, over and out.